Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
The Southern Poverty Law Center is engaging in irresponsible acts by continuing to list on its website pro-family organizations as hate groups. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, you mentioned this in an article before it ever happened. You warned that what happened at Family Research Council would ultimately happen. It did happen. A person went into Family Research Council by the name of Floyd Corkins, and he intended to kill as many people as possible and to smear Chick-fil-A sandwiches in their faces. Then he was going to additional pro-family organizations, also listed on the Southern Poverty Law Center as hate groups, to wreak more havoc and more mayhem and murder. You said it was going to happen. It did happen. And still, the Southern Poverty Law Center lists these organizations as hate groups.
And that's what's most troubling, Matt. I at first, when I was pleading with the Southern Poverty Law Center to take this really provocative rhetoric that appeared, at least, we know for sure what they were attempting to do by juxtaposing Christian organizations alongside violent extremist groups,
skinhead groups,
skinheads,
KKK
Aryan
groups,
races, and so forth.
Those groups,
mixed in right with them as quote hate groups.
Yeah.
They're attempting to marginalize guilt by false association. So that's the scheme. I get it. It's pretty clever. They thought it would work. It's backfired in their face in a huge way. But now that they know that FBI evidence has conclusively shown that Floyd Corkins, a homosexual activist, was both motivated by and literally utilized the SPLC's hate crimes hate map to locate and pinpoint who they target, his intended Christian victims of mass murder. Now that we know that, even today, right now as we speak, that hate target map is still on their site. They're still smearing Christians in an anti-Christian way as hate groups simply because they take a traditional values position, a biblical position on sexual morality.
Yeah, the FBI crimes report that they come out with every year show that there has been a steady decrease in hate crimes across the board.
Right.
And yet Southern Poverty Law Center says that there is an increase of hate groups. Now
that they make up.
And they do it as a self-promotion that they're this watchdog for so-called hate groups, and they put them on there. It may be some single individual who's blogging somewhere that they put on there as some organization, and there are organizations that they may not even exist anymore. And then they also classify groups such as Family Research Council, Focus on the Family, Concerned Women for America, Traditional Values Coalition, and others as hate groups. Now, why do they do that? Well, because they believe in marriage as the union of one man and one woman. That categorizes them as a hate group.
Yeah.
If they believe that homosexuality is wrong or immoral, then that categorizes them as a hate group. Even though they eschew hate, they don't engage in violence. They're not violent groups. Ideologically, they classify them as a hate group because they disagree with them on the issue of marriage and homosexuality.
And laughably, the Southern Poverty Law Center has set up they'll say, no, that's not why we do it. We do it because
they state on their
pushing
website the criteria for the pro-family groups, why they are listed there.
I know. They say it's for spreading known falsehoods, but the reality is that these known falsehoods, I have personally challenged Mark Potok to debate on television anywhere, to come here to Liberty University to debate these known falsehoods that they're talking about, known falsehoods that he's not willing to defend as falsehoods. This is a smear campaign. They know it. It's clever. It's Saul Alinsky style tactics. But the problem is now, Matt, it has become dangerous. Blood has been shed.
This Floyd Corkins, you remember he went to the Family Research Council in Washington, D.C. He was stopped by the guard, who ultimately was shot by this individual. And he is, in many eyes, a hero because he stopped this individual from a further mayhem. He confessed to the police, to the FBI, after the shooting, that he intended, quote, to kill as many as possible and smear the Chick-fil-A sandwiches in the victims' faces. And remember, Chick-fil-A came out with this statement by the founder, that the founder and the leadership of Chick-fil-A believe in marriage as the union of one man and one woman. Well, he was going to use Chick-fil-A and smear it into the face of these victims after he killed them. Fortunately, he was stopped. But we also know he had a list. And on that list was an organization that I'm very familiar with, where we both know the people that are involved in that organization. They've also been listed as the hate group, and it's a family values organization. And he had a couple of others as well. He was going to go from one to the next and kill.
All hate groups, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center.
And he got those names from the Southern Poverty Law Center's website, and the Southern Poverty Law Center's website actually has a map. So it not only lists these
with little red dots that
so
point,
he could pinpoint which ones to go to.
And then easy access to driving directions. The Southern Poverty Law Center did everything but buy Floyd Corkins the gun and drive him there to do it. Now, you'll remember, Matt, I thought it was ridiculous when the left went nuts when Jared, I think his name, Loeffner, shot Congresswoman Giffords and a number of other people, and they said, oh, this is because of violent rhetoric and Sarah Palin's political map where she targeted political targets.
Right.
Well, it turns out had nothing to do with it. There's no evidence that Loeffner even ever saw that. He was completely apolitical, left-leaning, if anything. So that had nothing to do with it. Here we know the evidence is unequivocal that it was the Southern Poverty Law Center that incited this.
And where's
incident.
the media outcry to this?
Crickets.
Nothing. They're not even crickets. They're not even, the mainstream media is not even reporting this. I haven't seen any of this in the mainstream media that has actually been talked about very much. And in fact, what we also have here is an organization, the Southern Poverty Law Center, that is in bed with the Obama administration. A recent FOIA request showed emails between the Department of Justice regarding Morris Deese, who is the founder of the Southern Poverty Law Center, and he was coming to Washington, D.C., and they were just starry-eyed over the fact that they're going to pick him up at the airport and bring him there. They rely upon this Obama administration from the Department of Homeland Security with Janet Napolitano in 2010. You remember in the Department of Homeland Security report, she listed as terror groups, domestic terror groups, people who are pro-life, that believe in the sanctity of human life, veterans, people that believe in the Second Amendment. Those are suspected local terrorist groups. Just recently in West Point, relying upon the same SPLC information, they came out with another report saying Second Amendment, limited government, pro-family, pro-life, those are domestic terrorists. Now, they said, there's no evidence that they've committed anything, but those are groups to watch because they are hate groups, terrorist organizations.
The Southern Poverty Law Center, it is unadulterated propaganda. They are a marketing scheme. Morris Dees, a marketing genius, really. They have to keep the boogeyman alive, and because civil rights have taken root, true civil rights, they have to come up with new bad guys, new extremists, new boogeymen. Now it's Christians. Yeah, so they have become like an anti-Christian organization.
Yeah, they started off with regards to suing the KKK organizations, and that's how they made their popularity known. But now that is really kind of fallen by the wayside, it's not something that they're making big money off of now in terms of a moneymaker. They've switched to homosexuality in Christians and pro-family individuals. That's where they're making their money. They have an enormous amount of money stashed in various offshore accounts. It's quite amazing that this organization hasn't been further investigated, but it ought to be investigated by Congress because now we have this organization that is actually inciting hate, inciting actual physical violence.
Bloodshed. Yeah.
Well, go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. Liberty Counsel is not yet listed as a hate group on this organization's website. They say it's an organization to watch. Well, we're watching the SPLC, and we ask that you do as well. Continue to pray for the pro-family groups and leaders around the country. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. This organization needs to take off from its website this slanderous, false information classifying pro-family organizations as hate groups because they believe in marriage and they believe homosexuality is wrong. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. I encourage you to order the new book published by our publishing arm, New Revolution Publishers. It's Stolen Honor, Stolen Innocence by Dr. Judith Reisman. Stolen Honor, Stolen Innocence by Dr. Judith Reisman. Also remember to sign up for our Liberty Alert email, an educational email, and our grassroots action email at lc.org. Remember Liberty Counsel in your prayers and financial support. Thanks.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.